the first character we have in the sometimes really good, but meh, we got Rosalina and Luma. This is for me. I don't know, what do you think about it? Because this is like a lot of people disagree on where they are.
I think they're terrible.
Okay. I have them at the bottom of down here because I know there's like some matchups where they're like supposedly really busted in.
Like Peach is one of them probably. Like Peach does pretty good against Peach. Because she controls the space really well. Apparently, like Peach can't really float in those ranges she wants because they're so huge.
I know there's like a I don't know. I could also see them being honestly.
They're so bad. I'm so
might
sorry.
even down here, yeah. Like
they have really good frame data. Like the air, like I was mentioning, is like really safe. They have like really good ledge trap setups. They have like desync stuff that make her pressure better. Like I think she can like block string you with down air. Like
yeah,
you like down air grab her to grab people.
A lot of checkmating setups. I play a character that dumpsters her. There's a lot of those. So the first character out of here has like also, I think it's debatable also to be down in the tier below, but there was just another character that struck me as a character that like absolutely like destroys some matchups, but is pretty garbage in other ones. That's Richter. Richter is like the
really a counterpick character. That's just how I see it.
Fantastic counterpick character. A lot of even good characters just can't deal with this. Very like he's like what like Lucas and Robin wish they were, where he's like really good at covering like one angle, like a straight line right in front of him. His ledge trapping is like actually just like pretty unbeatable if he gets everything set up. And
good thing I'm Bayo.
Good thing you're Bayo. Good thing I'm Zero Suit. And we both play characters that just like absolutely mess him up, but a lot of people don't have that luxury. Like, I know for a fact that, like, he's, like, really, really problematic for Luigi. He's really, really problematic for, I actually don't even think he's, like, that bad against, like, Steve. I think that's, like, he's one of the better characters against him. His ability, like, stuff out minecarts. This is a character I have as a counter pick, but honestly, you know more about them than me. So what is your opinion on Mii Gunner?
I think this character is terrible. It's so bad. I mean, like, they have like really good ledge trapping, like I don't know what it's called, but it's like the bomb
grenade that's plus for some reason.
Yeah, it's plus like a shield and just murders you for no reason. So a lot of characters can't deal with that, like at all. Like they'll just lose. Like Snake at ledge, dealing with that, it's just over. It's like you can't do anything.
I know like Snake is like the classic example of one of those characters' really good matchups. I know Peach is like difficult for her too.
Yeah, the homing missiles too, they like they kill you for some reason. I don't know why.
They're like also
missiles that kill you.
They go through Zare. They have like a high enough percent threshold to
I forgot about that. So they just like beat projectiles for some reason.
Which is like Zare is like main counterplay to Zare. Like I remember against Katakiri, I had to start naring missiles instead because like Zare would actually lose to them. But like once I figured that out, Zero Suit just
I got witch time. I'm not worried about that.
I wouldn't necessarily describe this next one as a counterpick character. I would just describe him as a really good, really bad character. Chrom is such a great character until he's just the worst character in the game, and unfortunately, he's more often than not the worst character in the game.
Sneeze on him, he just explodes. It's so sad.
Also, his disadvantage is low-key really bad. He has really good air mobility, but because he can't change directions well, it's really easy to like predict where he's going to end up. He has to space to be safe in a way that Roy doesn't, which makes his pressure like a lot worse, despite the fact that he was like a sword. He has like some really dumb stuff, like Jer's like some of the best ledge trapping in the game. He actually like has the tools to keep up in neutral with most top tiers. He's just so much more fragile than them. It drags him all the way down here.
Not my Ryu.
I had Ryu down here. Honestly, another character, I don't necessarily know if Ryu has like really crazy matchups. Like I feel like he's just kind of like a character that plays neutral and kills you, but like I don't know if there's like any character he really hard counterpicks in a weird way or.
Yeah, I think so, sure.
I know like Ken has like a couple really good matchups with like Fox and stuff. I don't necessarily hear Fox mains talking about Ryu the same way they talk about Ken and Terry.
They're both probably pretty hard, but Ken's probably harder.
Yeah, like Ryu has a lot of things going for him that Ken doesn't. Way better zoning. He's got really, really consistent kill confirms. Like, if Ryu hits you at 70, there is no ifs, ands, or buts, you are dead.
Gets off the ledge a lot better, too.
Yeah. His Nair is still, like, pretty messed up, even if he can't do 2 in a short hop anymore.
It's that up air for me.
Yeah.
That up air is huge, and you can confirm into it. That's so unfair.
You can cancel it with Shoryu now.
Yeah, that's not okay.
His Tatsu is just really random. His recovery is not good, but like sometimes you just get like reverse hit Tatsu and die at 40.
I think she's so bad because I feel like she has to force everything to get things started. It's so just not good.
My like take on her, she's like a mech character, but she's broken for 10 seconds. So she's like when she's got deep breathing, she like jumps like 3 tiers. But when she doesn't have it, she's just meh. Just
yeah. So you kind of just like flat camp her or like run away from her, and then she becomes bad again, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'll just like.
She has really weird hurtbox shifting, but like most of that's all based on the ground. Her planking is like better than it should be because her ledge options are randomly really good. She's got the longest roll in the entire game. So you actually have to, like, if you want to be able to cover roll, you have to cover way further back, which makes it difficult to, like, punish her for regrabbing. More difficult than it should be to punish her for regrabbing.
Yeah.
I had Falcon down in here. I think Falcon's very flawed. I think he has a lot of really good players. But, I don't know. I think he's one of the ones where he has a lot of players better than the character.
Yeah.
A lot of people really want Falcon to work, but
he won't. Not with that dash being the way it is.
Yeah, a character that's supposed to run with awful dash, just kind of inherently flawed. I know he like messes up some big characters, like Bowser. Falcon's supposedly like pretty awful for Falcon.
Yeah.
Or for Bowser rather. Just like he like just kind of like I don't know the way he combos them, the way he pressures them is really good. He gets like a decent amount off grab. He doesn't have a bad 2-frame anymore, which is like helps his recovery a lot.
Right.
I think his recovery is like kind of overplayed in how bad it is a lot of times. You probably have one of the best up B's route, your best characters at guarding him, but I think for most people it's actually like a good amount harder than it looks. I had Pichu down here. I don't know about you. I feel similarly about Pichu the way that I feel about Chrom.
I don't think of Pichu. That's how I feel.
Yeah, like
too flawed of a character because of just how like they are. But like they're a solid character. It's just I think none of that means anything.
The fact that they're so campable, like Pichu without a lead is so bad. They're like literally killing themselves trying to like hit you. And even if they're like trying to camp you in matchups where like Pichu has to camp, Pichu's still damaging himself, trying to keep somebody out. He just has to interact and survive, and there's so many scarier characters that like you have to interact with. Like Pichu having to interact with Squirtle is bad, and Squirtle's not even the scariest one. Imagine having to interact with Mario and having to interact with Ness. Like those hitboxes, he just gets shredded.
I think Puff like actually like destroys Pichu. It sounds like easy to 2-frame. Like everyone can 2-frame Pichu.
No hitbox on recovery, super easy to intercept. I had Ike down here. Some people believe in Ike. Some people think he's terrible. I don't think he's good. I think he's
okay.
Yeah. I think he's better in tournament than he is in friendly.
We know. We fight it.
Yeah, we fight it all the time. I think Ike has a game plan, and it is very linear, and if it doesn't work, he just kind of loses.
That's
he's going to jump, and he's going to do a falling aerial, and he's going to jump, and he's going to do a falling aerial.
Do it again, and then maybe he grabs
Yeah, yeah. His grab's good. His grab's like,
good.
And his advantage state is really good. So if he hits you, like you're in some trouble. He's like ledge trapping, scary. He's got reliable confirms. He's got very safe pressure. But the problem is, if you're a character that's able to intercept him while he's on the way up, he just kind of can't do his. He can't play the game. His recovery is not good. It's not terrible with the side B, but it's not good.
His ground game is kind of limited to like dash attack or like grab, so you kind of have to, I don't know.
He's very committed to all the buttons he presses. Like,
they
all last a really long time. So if he whiffs them, like they're decently safe on shield. Like down tilt's not bad on shield, but if you whiff a down tilt, he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah. A character that I have a high and low opinion of, Meta Knight. I think Meta Knight is one of the best counterpick characters in the entire game.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think like he's very meta relevant right now. Like he beats a lot of the Fire Pass 2 characters.
He absolutely like obliterates Min Min. It's really ugly.
It's so bad.
I'm pretty sure he beats Palu, beats Lucina. I don't know how he
beats Lucina. Is so bad.
Yeah, I don't know how he does. He like destroys like Chrom. Probably does really good in Roy.
Beats
Sephiroth. Like there's a lot of like good matchups in there. There's just also some very bad ones. Namely, Zero Suit is his biggest problematic one.
He's flawed. I think Dale does really good against him too.
It's kind of like, do you survive the whole game of like footsies and getting dash attacked? And if you get dash attacked, is it the end of the world? Yes or no? And if the answer is yes, then you probably lose. If the answer is no, you probably win. Like Zero Suit both deals well with that footsies game and also just doesn't die to his stuff, so his game plan kind of falls apart. I know he beat Samus too. I think like Samus.
Oh yeah, that match was terrible.
I know Icy is like ranted about Bonk's Meta Knight before.
Probably does good against Olimar too.
Yeah. If you have a bad recovery or you're floaty, it probably is rough. If you have to like a sword like kind of neutral where it's very whiff punish. If your neutral is very whiff punishable, you probably have a really hard time.
Yeah.
But I think Meta Knight has like a whole lot going for him. He just has a lot of matchups where he's just not all that. So like he's like probably in the upper end of this tier. He's got some messed up matchups, but also some not great ones. And then next, I have Incineroar, which might be high to some people.
No, I think this is fine.
I've never thought Incineroar was bad. Everyone's trying to like sell me that he's like down in the net. I just never saw it. I'm like, literally, this character needs to be right twice. Like,
good buttons. This is buttons. Like that's, I don't know.
And the way he can be right can be two different ways. One of the times just needs to be, oh, there's an attack coming my way down B, and then the next time he's right, he kills you at 0. Yeah. Or he just hits you one time and then he hits you again without even the down B, he still kills you. Like, bad mobility is what holds him back. There's a lot of limitations that comes from it, but his ledge trapping is really messed up.
DI on the down tilt, just attack it and still get down tilt again anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Literally, it's like the best. It's like the best 2-frame in the entire game. He has a whole lot of ways to just make reads and literally delete you at any percent. Like he has a lot of tournament practicality. His recovery's not too hot. Sometimes just like something like everyone can do about it. Sometimes there's not a whole lot you can do about it. His Nair's really messed up for edge guarding. His down B's really messed up for edge guarding. Yeah, like
with that side B. That's Bale. ABK is command grab. That's literally the same move.
It's like armored command grab ABK that kills you at 5. And then, I've seen moves from Incineroar do literally 70. Like
back throwing like 60 or so.
Yeah, like Hungry Box died at like 62 or whatever. You know, it's, this character can always win at any given point, no matter how bad the matchup is, because he could just be right. At one point, he could just be right.
Up is so good.
I have Puff like in the upper end of this too. I think Puff is very similar to Meta Knight for me, where I think she's a messed up counterpick character.
Yeah.
But I think she just has a lot of really bad matchups too.
She does good against Palu, she does good against Roy, she does good against Pika, Pichu.
I know Kazuya is not that bad for her either.
Yeah, Wario is actually pretty good for her.
I know Puff is pretty even, I think, with Fox, I think.
I don't know. Probably like Peach. I don't know, maybe Peach. It would be okay. I could see that being okay. But yeah. I don't know, like this edge guarding is like really crazy. Like you can't really do anything about it. You kind of have to hold it.
Like Puff has like the trains with like fairs and theirs that are just like actually just death. Like there's not a whole lot of tricks to it. The pound combos are very real. There's just a whole bunch of like at any point you get caught rolling into her, you just explode. Problems, she always is going to struggle with characters that just don't have to interact with her and aren't fragile. This is another character that Zero Suit bodies.
Yeah, I think that is alright. I think it's like slight bad.
Zero Suit's probably one of her worst. Just because Zero Suit's not fragile, doesn't like suffer from like the punish game, and then she has a really hard time dealing with Zare. Zare Bear combos on Puff at like every percent because of her like size. She's literally just a kickball. She has some very good players piloting her. Puff has like strong ability to win. She has like the X factor in the way that Incineroar does. That keeps her in the game even in her bad matchups. But then her good matchups, it's just brutal. Like her good match, she's one of the characters that like if she wins a matchup, it looks unplayable. It's just not fun. And then next one, another character I think is very counterpicky, like has a lot of counterpick strengths, and that's Hero.
Hero's so good.
I think Hero is a character that is like either or really stupid, and that's like kind of the range. Like one of like the best in this, I think. He's so good at beating camping characters. If the character's trying to not interact, he just becomes the best character in the game and just ends your life. Shield breaking aerials, multiple ways to kill you at zero.
He's actually really fast.
Really fast,
I don't think people talk about that enough. Like he actually has like good ground speed. He can run up on you if he wants to. That jab is really good. He has really good ledge trapping. He has good out shield.
Budget snake forward tilt.
Yeah.
The up B out of shield's really good, especially on Talon where you can land on the platforms with it. And then recovery is sometimes quite literally just nothing you can do about it. The mana restrictions are real. I think like the main way you beat him is you're just able to dodge for a little while and like make his life uncomfortable by being able to move around him. But
I just think it's stupid that he can like manipulate his menu so he can get better spells and
with heal and
you get 2 heals, you just eliminate the heals, you get whatever you want. You got the oomph, you got the psycho up, that means you're getting all the stupid spells after that.
At any point, you could just hocus pocus and become big and F smash and just, right?
Stage,
one of the characters, like, we're getting to the characters that always have a chance. I think, like, Incineroar and, like, Puff and, like, Hero characters, they always have a chance.
They're so good.
They're never out of it till they're out of it.
Yeah, he checks a lot of the others as well. Like beats all of them probably.
I don't have a whole lot to say about Bowser. I don't
either.
I think you could program if you wanted like an AI generated like top player like that follows like an algorithm that always does certain things in certain scenarios. You could like generate a top 10 player who plays Bowser if it just like always does something like instantly in certain scenarios. Like if it's like entirely programmed off if then statements. Like I think a top 10, like you could make a top 10 player Bowser in that case. It's just so simple. Like it's point and click. Really good out of shield for no reason. He hits really hard.
Manrad has what, the fire breath, doing like 1,000,000% for no reason. What else? He has good ledge trapping.
Really good ledge trapping. It's terrifying. I bet I against Leon way too many times.
Yeah.
Even as Zero Suit, I don't feel very safe against it. He's fast. Why is he fast?
He needs it.
But then he has like the other downsides. His recovery is not super hot.
Yeah.
He's actually very big. Doesn't have great ways to land. It can come back to bite him. He's always in it though. He could just kill you, you know. But he's very easy to run over. I think there's like a lot of ways to disrespect him if you can like have safe ways to pressure without having to deal with his up B out of shield. That's pretty much all I have to say about Bowser. He always has a chance. Ken, a lot of what we said about him versus Ryu. He just catches your jump sometimes in a way that I think Ryu can't. I think like he struggles. I think Ken deals better with high mobility characters, whereas I think Ryu deals better with like characters. Yeah, if Ryu has the ability to camp, I think Ryu's better. But if you don't have the ability to camp, I think Ken keeps up better. I think Ken players are worse than Ryu players across the board. I think Ken players tend to like to mash and just turn off their brains because the character kind of enables that. In a way that Ryu doesn't, so Ryu players just are better. I don't necessarily think the character's better, but I think Ryu has better results because he encourages better gameplay.
Yeah.
He doesn't zone quite as well, but like I said, like the Shoryuken being able to catch like jumps and characters moving around him is really scary. His confirms she'll break pressure, pretty much all the like similar stuff to Ryu. He's a little faster, which is a pretty big deal. Similar problems across the board though, like he's gonna get pooped on by Game & Watch. Struggle with Samus, you know.
Huge.
The huge. I had Byleth down here as well. I think Byleth is just a very solid character, but I don't think they're great. Like,
I think they're good.
I don't know. I think it makes sense. This is kind of similar to how I feel about Corrin. It's weird seeing like Richter in here and Gunner, but I don't know. The Byleth, obviously, we've seen what Leo could do with them. I think, obviously, everyone knows that Leo is a significantly better player than Byleth as a character. But
yeah,
Byleth, there's also, because of Leo, I think we get to see like Byleth where like Byleth is strongest a lot because Leo doesn't play Byleth into the worst matchups. Like, we never see Byleth Min from Leo because he won't play it.
There's no reason to play it.
Like, there's a lot of like really bad Byleth matchups, a couple of them. That we just never see because Leo just doesn't play it. So the character's, I think, a little worse than advertised, but obviously very solid. You can get very far with them. Probably harder to deal with at top level, play at top level now because of how randomly prepped everyone is for Byleth.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so unfair, like as a Byleth player going up against Tweak in an already losing matchup that he knows like the back of his hand for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like because that's what they've all been dealing with. They spent an entire year trying to work out how to beat that thing.
I think pretty highly of the character. I play against the character a lot, so I don't know. I think Byleth has like probably like one of the best neutrals by far. Like just because of how strong their buttons are, like the forward air and back air, all that side B, being safe, all that stuff.
They have Go ahead.
They beat like Palu. I think they actually beat Palu like pretty handily.
Yeah. And then I think we're getting to near the end of this. Sora is another character I have down here.
I disagree again.
Okay, so you think Sora's better?
Yeah, I do. I think he's pretty good. I just think the reps for Sora are terrible.
I think that's possible. That's fair, honestly. I think there's room for us to be proven better. I think he has the opposite problem that like Falcon and Ryu do, where I think the character is better than his players.
Yeah, I think the characters are really solid. There's a lot going for them.
I think what like holds like Sora down here for me is I just don't see how like Sora deals with a lot of camping, like especially like charge shot style camping. Like Samus seems so atrocious. I know Icy lost to Kameme that one time, but like I don't know how she let that happen.
it's just probably a lot of like countering to get in. It's probably that's what I assume at least.
I actually remember watching the set because I wanted to figure out like what they did about it, because like maybe just like if they can get past it, like I can like learn some charge shot counterplay. And I remember it was a lot of like using Sora's weird like floating properties to exist just above normal charge shot height, and it was like a really awkward angle to cover.
Okay.
Which
probably did like some stalling or something.
Yeah. But it looked like Kameme was like super ready and Icy just wasn't. Which I guess you have to be. I also am not super like impressed by his ability to cover like dash back. Like his dash attack's good, but it's just bad to miss. And I think if you're just running away from enough, last two are very similar in my opinion and how they function. I have Luigi.
Yeah.
I think Luigi is really good when you have to interact with him the way he wants you to, and he's really bad when he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I think characters that have to interact with Luigi probably lose. Low-key, I think PT might lose. I think...
Oh my god.
Maybe Ivysaur does it, but I think, like, just the practical degree of having to interact is, like... It's rough. I don't know. I don't like it. Obviously, Zero Suit just bodies him. A lot of sword characters shut him down really hard. But like Fox is a really big has a really big problem with Luigi. Other characters have to play in his range.
Roy.
Roy.
Problem.
I think Diddy's like better against him because of the his worst grab. I think like has actually made the matchup a lot better than it was in Smash 4 for Diddy. But
Wario is terrible too. I don't like that matchup as Wario.
Rats is rough. Yeah, Wario. He has a lot of strengths, just also a lot of characters that just shut him down. Like Sonic and like Aegis are so bad for him. There's nothing he can do. But yeah, he has his strengths. I think like Kazuya is actually a weirdly good one for him as well. I think like
I can fight him better than he can.
yeah, it's like a like they play the same game, and weirdly Luigi's game kind of just matches up well against it. And then the last one I think is like the king of this tier. I think it's Ice Climbers. I think Ice Climbers is either like a top 5 character or a bottom 5 character, depending on who they're fighting. Like the counterpicking existence of this character is like so one-sided. Like
if you have to interact with this character with your body, it is over.
Like just what are you doing? Just give up. Like your fault for ever trying to play the game. It's possible. Watching Fast Beat Hammer Bro at like the Tennessee tournament was like really inspirational, but he's also like a he's a scientist at that matchup.
Right.
I remember him complaining that like he thinks he's unironically the best Fox at the matchup, and that doesn't make him feel good because he still loses it. That's really like he's really good against Fox. Ice Climbers really good against Fox. Ice Climbers, Wolf is really difficult.
Wario, Peach.
I remember Ferb saying that he thinks like Wolf maybe slightly wins, but I don't know.
I think he's wrong.
That's possible. Yeah, you can tell Ferb that. I don't feel qualified to tell him no, but I trust you guys on it. So like.
Yeah, Wario's awful. When I played Wario, I hated that matchup so much.
Did he like the banana just stops working because the other climber becomes activated? Like there's a very, very strong counterpick potential. I think the only downside is that while they're probably the strongest counterpick character here, they're also the one that takes the most effort to actually like have. Like it's significantly easier to have a Puff or a Meta Knight in your pocket than it is just a Ice Climbers. But yeah, super broken counterpick character, but also sometimes runs into matchups like Min or Richter, you know, where they just kind of fall apart. So now we're getting the good characters. I think Mii Brawler is really dumb. I don't know. I don't think Mii Brawler's like broken, but they're really good. I think Mii Brawler doesn't move forward like great. Their dash attack's good. I think like people don't realize how good the dash attack is.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Just
super
Mario Fox if they have a baby.
Mario Fox if they had a baby. Not necessarily better than either, I think, but
Yeah.
I think plenty good enough to keep up. They have a lot of messed up confirms, especially on certain stages. And like certain like platform situations. Their grab's good, their dash grab's good. Their nair is really messed up. Super safe aerials, just good combo game. Not super bad disadvantage. Not a great recovery, but like a budget flip jump and like a decent up B.
That flip jump's terrible.
Yeah, it's like Walmart flip jump, but
It's so laggy.
but the character's solid. This character can probably win in almost like any matchup. I think it's like one of those characters that probably goes even with a lot of people. You just kind of got to be better in a lot of cases. I don't know. Mii Brawler, very good. Has a lot of cheese potential. Pretty simple. Ness. I have Ness up here. You think Ness is worse?
No, I hate Ness.
Yeah.
I just want Sora to be up a tier, that's all.
You want Sora to be up one?
I think he should be up one. I think he's so good. Like, he has so much going for him.
I'm willing to recognize that there's like potential for it. This is like, I don't think I believe him as much as you do, but I think like I can see a world where like Sora definitely gets there.
I might do it.
You could be the one to show us, but I think Ness like definitely is always that character that suffers from like late game metas. However, I don't think that's quite the case. I think what tends to happen in Ness is that Ness's recovery gets solved near the late game, and then also Ness's ways to approach tend to get solved. But I think Magnet is like so unique in that it gives him like weird angles that other characters don't have because he can like stop his double jump anywhere at any given height. And he has like kind of like weird ways to snake in through like a lot of walls that he shouldn't be able to. And then when he's in, he's terrifying. I know he has some infinites on some characters, like he has an infinite on Fox or something. Just pretty insane frame data. Out of shield, very difficult to interact with. One of those characters that if you have to press buttons in a 5-mile radius of him, is just gonna win. But he struggles against range. He struggles against good edge guarding, good mobility, zero suit dumpies on him. I love it. I love that matchup. It has a lot of strengths. Has the ability to keep up even in his like bad matchups. I think he just always has the chance of getting in. In a way that like I don't think like I think a lot of the characters down below like sometimes just get totally shut down. I don't think Ness is ever totally shut downable. And his punish game is just able to like get him through anything if he really needs it.
Yeah.
I had Inkling around here. I think Inkling is good. I think Inkling struggles in a lot of circumstances though. I think Inkling's approaches are pretty linear. I think Inkling is very reliant on dash and not from aerial approaches, which makes like anything that hits dash, like for example, I know Samus Inkling's awful. There's just not a whole lot of ways.
Charge shot occupies all that. So.
Just hits the dash and then they can't jump over it because the aerials aren't safe enough, and then it's a rough time. Back air is really dumb. I did mention this is the one aerial that actually is safe enough, but their throw confirm windows are really busted.
Yeah. They're like their back air and their down air are like really safe for that reason.
I think I think their the ink is like a very good mechanic for them, but I also don't think it's like busted. I think in like the world of like busted like gimmick mechanics, I think theirs is actually like decently balanced. Like it's pretty dumb. Like obviously, like man, I took like 30 for being covered in paint and getting hit by one back air. But like there's like enough counterplay to both avoiding it and then like camping it out while it's on you.
I wish they like rollered on the ground more and just to do it. so that people have to like deal with that, like their dash and like being slow on the ground and then being forced to jump. So like I feel like if they did that more,
I feel like
so like it kills, it'd be really good.
I think that's if they had to play, if they like, you have to fight Inkling on FD layouts. I think Inkling like jumps a tier. I think like Town, Kalos, FD are all just messed up stages for Inkling for that reason. Whereas I think their ability to deal with like plat camping also gets pretty. Like I know Zero Suit's supposed to have a hard time against Inkling, but I just don't see it because of platforms. I have Greninja in here.
I disagree.
Better or worse?
Worse.
I think Bayo's that's a little bit of a Bayo perspective though.
No, I don't know. So serious. Like I don't know. I feel like nothing he does should work, like ever. He's so bad and linear. But I guess it's biased. It might be biased.
I think he's very linear. I think it can work. I think like if you play lame enough as Greninja, he has the ability to keep up. If you just literally never do anything first and throw shurikens the entire time, he can make like even top tiers play his game to an extent. I don't think his vertical pressure is very good at all. I think it's one of his biggest flaws. His out of shield is obviously really bad, but like I think his movement mitigates that for the most part.
Yeah, if you're fast like that, that's not really an issue.
I think it's the platform pressure that's the bigger problem.
Yeah.
Like the ability to just like be scared of while being above him. I think parry down tilt is also really messed up. I think it's one of the things that gives him a chance against anything. He has like one of the best out of parries for having a bad out of shield. Really just some messed up confirms in there. But I think he also has like more worse matchups than a lot of Greninja mains put on. I think like Bayo definitely beats him right.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it's just like not particularly playable.
Nothing happens to me. Like he grabs me, nothing happens. If he dash attacks me, I beat it. He hits me at all. It's like 10%.
Snake's probably awful. I don't see a whole lot what this character does against Sonic.
I just don't know how they hit people. Like I always think about this. I'm like, how are they even hitting anyone? Like, any users? It feels like it's impossible. If they're really fast.
They just run around, threaten to do something first, never do it, and then would punish. I know that like they like fake kind of like had a really busted matchup against Palutena, then Palu's kind of like got good and realized it's like, maybe not. But
It's definitely annoying.
I think it's fine to keep him here. I don't know.
You can do that.
Okay. Well,
he's not bad. He's alright.
I had Terry in here. I think Terry sometimes feels more busted. I think sometimes he feels really bad. I don't know. He's stupid.
This is fine. I think he's really good.
I think that's like possible. I think his.
I can't see him being bad ever.
I think his recovery kind of sucks. I'm watching what Proto did to Riddles with Lucina. Was like it was like kind of manhandling him. It was bad. I think like he probably like I think if you're like playing really aware of his burst range, his neutral isn't like super hot. Like you're watching out for crack shoot. I think like his neutral kind of falls apart to a certain extent if you're like really aware of that. Recovery's not super hot. The problem is you just have to kill him before 100. It's just not fair. He's just walking around with infinite supers. Horrible game design. I think he probably benefits a lot in tournament. There's a lot of like counterplay to jab stuff. SDIN can make you fall out of power dunk. Although it gets you hit by a B, whichever one you take.
I don't even think I can do anything about it.
Yeah, that's even Bayo. That's crazy, yeah.
I'll just have to deal with it.
Zero Suit falls out of the power dunk pretty easily because of skinny airbox, but
wish that were me. Really,
you fall out of everything else. Let me have this one.
I need that. I'm sick of it. I hate Terry.
I also hate Terry. I can see a world where he's better. I don't know.
I should play that.
a lot of this tier is weird because I feel like half this tier like probably deserves like another gap, but I have Falco in here.
Not him.
You think Falco's better or worse?
No worries.
Interesting. Okay.
I would put him like right in front of Ices.
Okay. I think it's possible. I just think that Falco, like unlike a lot of the characters, has like realistic abilities to catch people. Because he has a good full hop. Like he's like one of those characters where you're supposed to never interact with him and run away from him the entire time, but he actually like has a way to pin you down over time because he has like if I'm fighting Luigi as Zero Suit, I just run away from him the entire time and I zero him, and then he gets me to the corner and then I double jump, flip jump to the other end of the stage and repeat. But like Falco can actually like do something about that because he has the ability to intercept.
I guess for me, I just don't really think about it because it's like he doesn't have any airspeed, so I don't know. Like when he's like threatening, I guess you get threatened like if he sets up a combo and then like after that I could just chase you, but I don't know. I just think like for me, what I hate about fighting him is like in those last hit situations where he has like down tilt and all these other stupid moves to just throw out whenever he wants.
Forward air and nair low-key kill like earlier than you think, and
That's that down tilt. Down tilt is stupid. Like you already don't want to fight him on the ground.
and up tilt's frame 4.
Woo!
Combos into the same 80% combo like any other way.
That's awful.
I can see him being like down here. I don't know. There's weird. I think they're. I could put him there. We could put him there. That's
He's just Luigi to me.
Yeah.
This is how I look at him.
I'm willing to be convinced here. I just think he's like got more like actual hopes of like not getting flowcharted than Luigi.
Yeah.
Which is like slightly better, but I had Olimar in here.
Yay!
I hate this character. I think
I love Olimar.
he's so stupid. He beats anything I've ever like thought about playing. He beats it. He like absolutely turbo. Beats Zero Suit, beats PT. It's just I don't like him, but he's got problems. Thank God he got nerfed.
Yeah, for real, he was awful.
His shield's a lot worse. His auto shield's a lot worse.
I think his Pikmin kind of like tell on him a lot.
Yeah.
Too. Like his game plan.
If you understand like what each Pikmin means, then it's like pretty easy. Oh, he's gonna throw the white one. He's gonna grab with the blue one. He's going to just swing at me with like the red one. He's gonna throw the purple one. Yeah, like it gets like it makes a certain kind of sense. There's a rhythm to it. But he's got matchups where he's really strong. He's got matchups where he's really bad. He gets demolished by Fox. I think Rob's really bad for him too, right?
Yeah, that sounds bad. He just nairs through everything. Corrin's really bad too.
Yeah, Chrom blows him up. A whole lot of characters with like just like any like big hitbox around them, like Shulk. They're just gonna kind of kill all the Pikmin faster than he can pluck them, and
Knight sounds hard.
Yeah, he has the whistle at least to like maybe help with some of the combos, but
yeah,
still can't be great. I don't know. Try to speed through this a little bit quicker. Mega Man. I think Mega Man has like still room to grow.
Yeah, I'm like indifferent about Mega Man. I'm not sure if he's good or not.
I think being small and heavy is like such an underrated busted combo. The fact that he's both is pretty messed up. His recovery is really good. He's just not fragile, but he also like has like a pretty high effort ways to kill people. Like he doesn't have like great ways to cheese you. It's just kind of like get you a high percent kill you with fair back air. But Metal Blade stuff can be really messed up.
Yeah, that's perfect. I will say that.
Like Z-Drop Metal Blade like kind of block strings on shield that he just gets free grabs. Sometimes he gets shield breaks off of it. Up till at any point could just be a grounded whiff punish to kill it like 70. So he has like his ledge trapping's really good. I think he just has like enough in mobility that, and also like having played MPG a couple times, I'm just like very impressed with his character's ability to move. And I think he's good enough. I think he's just like slightly like outclassed by just like pure power by a lot of the characters better than him.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't do enough damage without like some insane setup.
Yeah. I think he has the potential to get there though. I think like having an item is always good feature for your metagame.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have Wario in here. I think Wario is like a really bad character until he's amazing.
He's so. I have a lot of opinions.
I feel like Wario is like your PT, you know. Like my opinion, my feelings about PT, probably a lot of feelings for you with Wario.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he works so hard.
Bad. It makes me sad. He's working too hard.
He's got a couple good matchups. Look at like some of the top tiers, like Fox, right?
Yeah.
Min Min too, I think, right?
Yeah,
the
I think he beats Min Min.
But like I think the biggest thing he has going for him is that he has an incredibly strong X factor. He's heavy and his recovery is good.
The frame data.
The frame data.
Man route.
He's got a significantly better player than the character. Like Lutini, I think, is significantly better than the character.
Yeah, I also think the meta just kind of ruins him. He's
Steve
not
is
good
so
now.
bad. Watching Steve Wario is always awful. I don't think I've ever seen Wario win that.
I played it and it's the worst, worst thing I've ever played in my entire life. Like I actually don't like it. Same with Kazuya. I played that and I can't do it. It's just
Hitbox is too stubby. And like he's got like a player base that's really dedicated to figuring the bad stuff out. Sonic as well.
Nope. I'm not playing that.
Yep. Watching like Pelly beat like Luto that one tournament was depressing. It was just like nothing he could do about it.
I don't have a single character for Sonic.
Yeah.
I think that's a Chrom. I might go Chrom for that one.
I think Zerosuit does fine. Zerosuit's like
I have nothing for that thing.
That's fair.
I go Sora. Sora might work too.
But anyway, I have Yoshi. I think on yours you had Yoshi higher, right?
Yeah, I think he can solo main Yoshi.
I think Yoshi's definitely like good. I don't know. I just feel like I guess I just haven't played like I played Suarez and stuff. Like I played like good ones. I haven't played like Yoshidora, and Yoshidora is clearly different. And like maybe like capable like pushing him more than I think he is, but I just think that Yoshi kind of struggles against good disjoint movement. But he's really anti-meta to a lot of things. Like I think he struggles against Zerosuit, for example. I think he struggles against like Aegis. But I think he's really good against Steve and Kazuya randomly, right? Or he's really good against Rob. I know he's not bad against Fox.
He's good against Wario. He's good against Peach. I could low-key see Diddy being fine.
I think they don't like Diddy, which at least I don't know. I didn't like it in Smash 4, but it's possible.
No, I don't know.
I think Yoshi struggles from a very similar problem that Zerosuit does, which is the combination of a bad dash grab and a bad dash attack. Which, like, is a weird specific weakness, but it makes it very difficult to get, like, good punishes for people, like, doing pokes. Like, people who are trying to poke you and, like, on the ground, not having, like, a strong punish for that gets, like, really obnoxious, especially when, like, some of these pokes are like Kazuya Electric or something like that, where if you get hit by it, you just instantaneously combust. So if you don't have like any kind of countering fire to that, then it's like kind of like frustrating to play that game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what makes like Piranha Plant like weirdly difficult for him, like weirdly good ground lack of weirdly good ground options.
Yeah.
But I think he's definitely good. I think he's just has like a couple things that he struggles with. But very good in the meta right now. I think like in the meta he's probably higher. I had Sheik in here. You don't believe in Sheik quite as much.
He's okay.
I don't like I think a lot of people like try to push Sheik way higher than she is.
Like, they're insane.
I would have her probably on the lower end of this tier.
Yeah.
I think Sheik has a lot of really good things going for her. Namely, I think needles are so broken. I think like the fact that she kill confirms off them. She's like got really fast. Like she's really fast. So like they're like safe too. They're like -6 or something like that.
I think they're safer.
Yeah, I think they're safer. It's just like the fact it's like very safe kill confirms off of like a transcendent projectile that she can move with. And then like a lot of other things like DI kind of messes her up in a lot of ways. One thing that people don't talk about, SDI up gets you out of her a lot. And there's like
she was trays like all the time.
And she doesn't have like the hitboxes to be like as like precise as she could be in Smash 4. Like forward air just beat a lot of things. And Smash 4, and I think a lot of people underestimate how important that was to making the character work. The fact that forward air doesn't beat things like it used to means that like she doesn't actually just have ways to interact with a lot of hitboxes.
Right.
I think she's like got certain things that she's really good at though. Like I think she struggles with Fox a lot. I don't think she's good against Steve or Kazuya. I think she there's like ice climbers randomly body her. I know Rosa randomly bodies her.
Yeah, that'll always be hard for her.
Yeah.
Rosa's built to beat her.
But then she has some like really strong ones. Like Cloud's really good. I don't think Zero Suit's as good as people's like. Yeah, Loki, I think so too. I think like the way that matchup works is that I think they both are really strong in neutral, but only one of them has a shot at making a comeback.
Down smash.
Yeah.
Down smash boosted.
So good. And her landing, also people, I think her landing is not as good as, like, her disadvantage isn't as good as people say it is. Like, she kind of struggles to land. Pac-Man bodies her. But, like, she's got, like, some pretty good matchups against, like, Joker, Snake, I know.
Squirtle destroys her.
Yeah, Squirtle messes her up. Like, just Squirtle. And the fact that, like, there's a Charizard, too, for the percents where Sheik doesn't want to deal with that. But, like, only for the percents where Sheik doesn't want to deal with that. Loki, I think Youngling beats her, too. But
my god.
The next character, I hate this child.
I hate him, too. It's okay.
He's
Toast ruined us.
Toast ruined us. I have spent way too many hours of my life trying to figure out how to beat this kid, and I've gotten decently successful at it, but I still hate him. I think Toast is a very good player. I think Skittles is a very good player. I think Kobe's a very good player. But I think the Young Link player base as a whole is just garbage. I think like that it like the fact that like I feel like this character is the easiest character to like get far in a local with. He's just so privileged in so many ways. Like the average safety of his entire moveset is like -5. Like he just doesn't have unsafe moves. Unsafe like projectiles. He's the definition of like zoner with hands. His recovery isn't great. It's not, I think, as bad as Younglings say it is, but it's also not good. Zero sometimes not working gets him killed.
There's a forward throw that kills, like, why?
It is like hard to react to. Yeah, he's got so many kill confirms. They're all off safe things.
The other shield is absurd. Like,
dude, the fact that like up B at a shield into back air you onto a platform into grab is a combo that he can do into an up air, and then you take 60. Like, because like Toast does that consistently. That is easy. It is like a bread and butter.
It was made for children. Like actually.
Yes. I think he is like he's like fragile. That's like his problem. Sometimes
Same
he just
like all the other links, basically.
Yeah, sometimes he just gets blown up, and it stinks. He's also like got like problems in some matchups where characters have bigger swords than him. I know Cloud sucks. I know Sephiroth's not fun. I know Sonic blows him up.
Yeah, homing attack.
Yeah. So he like struggled. He definitely has like some problematic matchups, but I think overall, like, I don't even believe the young links that say that Roy wins. Like, I've never seen a young link lose Croy. Like, it's
Yeah, the matchups they say they lose, they don't. Like,
yeah, they
ever,
don't.
so.
There's definitely a little bit of the Rob effect going on here. The only ones I like believe them on is Cloud because they all lose to Cloud.
Yeah, that one's like sounds terrible. So.
Alright. Yeah, busted character. So next I have Sephiroth in here.
I know a lot about him.
You do know a lot about him. What we
I
got?
play him and I play against it. His issue is that I feel like he's too fragile, so he can't really like abuse his mechanic like other characters can. Like if he was a little bit heavier, like maybe like a little bit lighter than Joker or something, I think he'd be like a lot better. He'd
He
probably be
also
like up a lot
can't
more.
mash.
Yeah, can't mash. I mean, he can like mash back air, but that's like it's like whatever.
Yeah.
His F tilt's not good unless he has wing. So a lot of his like moves aren't that great until he gets wing, and that's really bad because that most of the characters in his cast like can just kill you whenever they want. If you can't use your wing to keep up, like then you can't win.
Yeah, Kazuya's never seeing that wing. But
Yeah, but like actually, like I think he loses to Kazuya. It's hard. I don't like it. He also can't really abuse his side B, and I feel like his side B is kind of where his damage comes from because he doesn't do a lot of damage either.
yeah.
So you kind of need the side Bs to like set up stuff.
His left trapping is good, but it's very precise. It's like a lot of human error goes into that.
Yeah, and like the side Bs are hard to hit because a lot of the characters in this game are flying in the sky and like have absurd air mobility, which is another one of his weaknesses. He can't juggle characters really well.
Yeah.
And
multi-jump syndrome.
Yeah, and then like he kind of corners himself because some characters have really good air speed, or some characters have really good ground game, so he kind of like has to run away and like position himself. And he ends up putting himself in the corner, and that's not good. Like I feel like a lot of the time he's just in disadvantage. It's so bad. Like it makes me really sad. Because I think I'd play him if he was a little bit heavier or something. Yeah, I should consider it.
He's got some really good matchups. I know like Steve's like one of his better ones.
Yeah, he's really good against Steve.
He messes
Samus.
up a lot of low tiers. He's really good against Samus. Just kind of gets bait. But yeah, that makes sense. Like one of those characters just like outranges her shield.
Mm-hmm.
Gets kind of messed up by characters that mash though, like Fox. I think
Minmin's terrible.
yeah, Min has a bigger sword than him, and then like what does he have left?
Nothing. That's good against Peach. That's good against PT. I think he beats PT personally.
That makes sense. I was like, I have mixed feelings about that one. Where like sometimes I feel like it's good, sometimes I feel like it's bad.
It's that F-Tilt Mama.
Yeah, F-Tilt's so good against
That's
Myrtle.
the only match where it's like good. Like basically.
Yeah. The fact that it's like F-Tilt and a good grab. It's like not like that. Those two things are annoying.
Yeah, he actually has a really good grab game.
With like mix-ups off like back throw and down throw with like just DI. Like there's a good amount there. He's edge guarding scary too.
Yeah.
Speaking of PT, I had them next. I don't believe in PT the way other people believe in PT. Do you think they're better or worse?
I think this is fine.
Okay, I don't like a lot of people have PT higher. I do not believe in them in that way. I think their disadvantage is so vanilla.
It's so bad.
It's like every character in this tier, most of the ones in the tiers below have like tricks and disadvantage. PT's tricks are so bad and also so known. Like everybody knows about the Vine Whip on Edge trick and stuff like that, right? Like there's like PT tricks are so like
they're elementary. Like,
yeah, we've all seen them before, and they're all fake. His drift is just so bad in all three of the Pokemon. None of them have good landing hitboxes. Like none of them have a good downer to land with. Ivysaur has back air. Yeah, airspeed's really bad. All three of their recoveries are bad individually, and like together like form an okay one. It's essentially they just land badly. They're on edge terribly. Their recovery is not great. really, really bad when they get hit. Until they're hit, they're pretty good. PT playing...
Flip chart is pretty good. It's like really strong. It's like one of the stronger ones.
The fact that you can play the 3 Pokemon in neutral where they're all like their best, like Ivysaur with a lead is really busted against a lot of characters. Squirtle's neutral just is able to keep up with like in matchups that he shouldn't otherwise. And then Charizard being able to play a character like Charizard only when they're stupid is really stupid in and of itself. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of like good matchups that PT has. There's a lot of okay ones. There's just some really garbage ones too. Like Samus and Young Link are just like not even worth playing. I think they're like entirely unwinnable. Rob is all 3 Pokemon at the same time, but better at all of their jobs. It's like tragic. Pac-Man is like pulling your teeth out. Olimar's not fun at all. Diddy is just kind of like literally deletes like Ivysaur and Charizard off a flowchart. You can only play Squirtle, and then Squirtle gets monkey flip camped. And then there's like some good matchups in there too. Like any character that has to fight Squirtle is like gonna have to play honest neutral against him, is gonna have a hard time. Like they're good against Croy, they're good against Fox and Wolf. When I say good, I think it's even matchups, but like they're like one of the best characters against Aegis. They're like pretty decent. Again, they're okay against Joe. There's just a lot of even matchups with the top tiers that they actually fight. It's just rough. The biggest thing they have going for them is that they're like okay against Kazuya, like probably even, and then they like are probably one of Steve's worst matchups. Which is so like they got boosted by the meta. Like Fighter Pass 2 actually helped PT probably more than it hurt. But I still don't. Right. Yeah, they're all right. That's just what I have to say about them. I don't believe in Samus the way that a lot of people believe in Samus. I think she's really good, but I just think she has some atrocious matchups. Like a lot of them are weird, like kind of like in the way that Diddy has some randomly awful matchups, like but they're really weird. Like Samus randomly having unwinnables with like Duck Hunt and Olimar. And Min Min is like all not fun. Falco's really bad. Zero Suit's not good. Fox and Wolf aren't good.
Sheik sounds annoying.
Sheik is actually very problematic for her. Bayo too, right?
Yeah.
So like Samus has like a lot of matchup problems, I think. However, I think she is one of the dumbest characters in tournament. She's
probably the easiest character in the game.
Yes, she's so simple. Her game plan is so effective, and she's so forgiving. Like this character is really, you can fall asleep at the wheel, use like -6 brain power, and get yourself to like the really good players before you have to think. It's so simple. There's a reason why there's a million of them in top 64s and top 32s. But she's harder to get to the top 8s, though. Like, once you're dealing with, like, the good players and the harder matchups, she starts falling apart. But, like, probably the easiest pools character in the entire game. Just requires, like, so much more to figure out how to beat her than it does to do the basic stuff. Right next to her, I have Zero Suit.
Oh my god, she's so awful.
I think she's better than a lot of the characters in this tier.
Yeah, she's better than most of these characters. It's just, I would never do that to myself.
I think she has a lot of things that make her life easier. Like, there's a lot of like very simple things that she doesn't have. There's a lot of things she doesn't have to deal with. But then she has some really obnoxiously difficult problems. Mainly, she struggles with characters that actually force her to interact. I think her worst matchups are like characters that are very interactive, like Fox, Wolf, Bayo. I think like those tend to be her harder ones. But she actually like has really safe, like good range shield pressure, really good mobility. A disadvantage that isn't
forward air.
Forward air is so good. People don't know about it. I saw a tier list. I had like one of those like move tier lists that had her in the second lowest tier for forward airs, and it's like
they're thinking about it like not working.
Yeah,
that's like a spacing thing.
If forward air worked better, it would be a worse move. If they like made it like connect better, the fact that it kill confirms into literally like everything, The hurt box shift on like frame 1 hurt
That's
box
what
shift.
it is for me. That's the broken part.
It's
for
faster than her air dodge. It doesn't like it's not something like her air dodge where if you use it you don't get it back, or flip jump if you use it you don't get it back. She has a frame 1 like Mario F smash hurt box shift in the air, a frame 2 air dodge, and a frame 3 flip jump with invincibility on it. Like, disadvantage is wild. She just has other problems. She's made of paper, like literally Kirby weight. She requires a lot of precision. While her game plan tends to be very like forgiving, the execution is not. She gets a decent amount of time to figure things out. I like that her disadvantage is very forgiving. I dislike that sometimes you have to be a surgeon in order to get around certain things. But I think she just has a couple problematic matchups, and I don't think any of them are like outside of her ability to win. I think it's just very hard to win consistently in those matchups with her. There's just like you just have to be better than them if you're gonna stand a chance. But there's a lot of things she's really good at. I think she's really good against Game & Watch. I think she's really good against Rob. She's really good against Steve. Palu. I think Palu's even. But like I think she's really good against Snake. I think she's like one of the better characters against Pac-Man. I think she's really good against Peach, Mario, you know. And then like a pretty solid low tier shutter downer, you know. A couple of them that are awkward, but definitely like solid character. I think overblown how big her problems are. But yeah, it's not easy. I have Pikachu down here.
I also have him.
Okay, I was curious. A lot of people are still in the Pikachu's top 5 universe.
I'm not.
I never was.
I never was, really.
I'm a big believer in vertical pressure. If you don't have a reason to get me off a platform, you're going to have problems.
Yeah.
And Pikachu's up air is not a bad move, but it is not good in that way. And then he's got really big problems with like stubby hitboxes, getting camped.
Yeah, he loses trades. Can get 2-frame pretty easily. Like linear like kill moves or kill options, like his dash attack, you kind of just like backhand him, and you know, like you said, like you can't deal with. It has no good like vertical pressure, so you kind of just let him swing at you. You punish him for it.
And then I think if you can't play what he's bad at, like if you can't play what he's bad at, then like he's really really busted. I think he's Esgarding's really dumb too, so if you have like a rough recovery like Fox, it gets really obnoxious. I think he's also a character that suffers a lot from people getting good at Footstool Out of Shield. I think one of his main gimmicks was being able to mash right in front of your face with zero spacing. But I think Footstool Out of Shield has like made that significantly more problematic for him at higher levels. I definitely he's definitely really good and has a lot of really good matchups. But I think he has more bad matchups than Pikachu mains let on. I think they're one of the hyper-optimistic main groups. I think Pac-Man isn't good for him. I don't think Peach is good for him. I don't think Olimar, Mario, Samus. Yeah, which is Samus tends to win. I think those are all like not great. I don't know, I'm getting a security thing or whatever. But, anyway. Mario. I have Mario down in here. Mario's just simple.
Broken.
He's like really good. Really bad at 0%. It's really funny. If you ever watch Kurama play, Kurama will exclusively use down air. He won't even try to hit someone with a different move other than down air at 0%. Because everything else is just unsafe. He either downers you or he grabs you and then he up throw downers you. And that's just it. But he's kind of got like stubby hitboxes, just kind of like telegraph game plan. Everyone knows what a Mario does. But at the same time, it's not easy to deal with. He's got good mobility with his in the air. His like aerials are pretty darn safe. His combos are really good. I don't think they're like... It's just hard because like there's just better combos in the game right now. His combos are good. There's just better ones. But I think he's one of the more hurt characters by DLC. I think he struggles with Steve. I think he struggles with Kazuya. I think he struggles with Aegis. I think he struggles with the characters that got good because of those. I don't think he's like, for example, like Sonic is a lot more prevalent right now because of how Sonic does against Fighter Pass 2, and I think he's worse against that. It's just, I don't know. I think Mario is suffering in the meta, but is still like a very good character.
Yeah.
And this is one of our, I know it's our disagreements. I had Peach closing this tier out. Peach has I always describe Peach as like non-DLC Kazuya.
What?
Like, Peach like does all like the same shit, the FD combos and stuff like that. They're just like if they weren't DLC. But like Peach was low key already DLC. Just Kazuya's just DLC Peach. Her damage output insane. Float is so broken. The fact that like all of her aerials are full hopped out of float.
Those micro interactions like that most characters would deal with, she doesn't have to deal with because of float. Like she can micro space. She's like the only character in the game that can do that.
She has the ability to, she really is the only character that can micro space. Like her ability to interact with you up close is just terrifying.
Yeah, that's why I have her so high.
Her parry down tilt is like a budget version of Greninja's. It's really good. It's just slightly slower, but like equally as threatening. And her grab game's like good at like a higher percent. I think she struggles to kill sometimes. I think she has like the BS ways she can do it sometimes if you're willing to break your hands. But like past that, she actually has to get you to like 130 pretty consistently.
Yeah.
But like it's also easy for her to get to 130.
She has like some of the best assets, like by far.
Yeah, like
so hard,
just spamming -2 aerials with no her box.
Her rock shifting is really good.
Her pancaking is not talked about enough. It's a big problem.
Turnips are broken. They beat everything in the air.
What holds Peach back for me is I think she has a lot of matchups that you have to be really good at to just not.
You have to be ready.
Yeah, like we've listed so many characters when we're like thinking about their random good matchups. So many of them that matchup was Peach. like Sephiroth and Peach, Mii Gunner and Peach, and there's a lot of characters.
And Peach.
Exactly, I think her matchups are hard. I think she has the capacity to get past all of them because of brute force firepower. And I do think Punish Game is more and more important the later we get into this game's meta, which keeps her in business. Because I think most of those hard matchups are due to like how the neutral works out for her. But I think Float will always make it possible for her to get in the same way that like Ness Magnet helps. And I think she is a lot scarier than Ness at higher levels when she's in.
But obviously her issues are like she's floaty, so that goes for like just in disadvantage or when she's committing to a kill. Like that's like her biggest thing. I hate about playing her. It's like when I want to kill someone early, I have to like hard read it or like fully commit to the option or But if I guess wrong, I get reversal. It's not. It's just really annoying to get going.
If someone's not willing to beat themselves by running into one of your float cancel backers, then it's actually
have to make something happen.
I think also the fact that like turnip camping is so much better because of the possibility like if she just pulled normal turnips to be fine, you could just ignore it. But because like if you let her keep going, she eventually pulls a Stitch. That's like makes it like so much like more threatening and like as against the camping. But that's the end of that tier. We're getting near the end of this.